Yo, what is up, headhunters and executive recruiters and hashtag the Herc? Happy Easter, everybody. And for those of you who don't celebrate Easter, well, I guess happy Sunday. So, I'm not sure if anybody's going to come in live here. See a couple people start filtering through. Oh, dang, Big J is in the house. So is Valia. Good to see you. And, of course, give me some love. What is up, Mr. Rich Rosen? Man, what are you guys doing here? This is Easter Sunday. Relax with your family. Jeez, Louises. Jesus Louises. Want to give you guys some additional news, kind of an announced bonus for 7-figure headhunter original course as well. Yada yada. So I have a and by the way, here's my favorite beer, Blue Moon. Happy Sunday. Hey, what's up, Kimberly? Kimberly just bought in on the original course. So what is up, Kimberly? What is up, Laura? What is up, Ronald? I figured I would do some unannounced training today. I just got back from Easter dinner at Elisa's family's house, and her mother-in-law or her stepmother, whatever, anyway, makes she's Brazilian, and they made this this rice with this creamy like a shrimp sauce called baba coa or something like, anyway, whatever. It's really good. It's like a Brazilian dish that's made in her specific town where she's from in Brazil, and it was awesome. So now we are settling in for the night, and we're gonna be watching Game of Thrones season 2 or episode 2 of season 8. So funniest thing about Game of Thrones, so when I find something I'm really interested in, I go deep. I've read all the books twice over. Yes, I'm that much of a nerd. And all week long, I have been ensconced in just YouTube video after YouTube video after YouTube video of Game of Thrones theories. And, how will Cersei die this season? Will Varys betray Khaleesi? Or what about Jon Snow and how they defeat the Ice King? What do the White Walkers really want? What does symbolism mean? All these kind of things. I've been watching theories and reviews all week. I told Elisa, look, I'm sorry, for the next 8 weeks, 6 weeks for the season and 2 weeks after for all the after theories. That's all I'm listening to. So that's a little bit about what's going on with me. So with that said, I wanted to make one announcement and then give you guys some training. Unless you guys had any questions you want to ask, I'm kind of just free balling it here on a Sunday night. Don't know how long I can stay on, but I thought I'd give you maybe some impromptu sales training, or just talk about sales in general. I think sales is an area that I think recruiters tend to fall short in. Just due to kind of the very nature of the business and how we tend to be more like candidate brokers oftentimes. And so I figured I could do some sales train with you folks. But first, when it comes to 7-figure headhunter, I gotta say this. I've been running the promotion all week, and the response has been a lot larger than I thought it would be. Honestly, I announced it Wednesday. I decided to do this Wednesday, put up a sales page and announced it, and then the response has been tremendous. So what's going on here, for those folks who don't know, the original course, which is what started the whole shebang, I started filming that maybe a little over a year and a half ago. I think it was September, or no, actually it's close to 2 years ago. So, that course overall took me like 7-8 months to finish, maybe 6-7 months, but it took a while. It's about 40 hours of content, agreements and contracts. There's a module in there on starting a search firm. That was actually one of the very first set of modules I ever created, actually. There's that. There's lessons on marketing and sales and email systems, blah, 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 right? And it's a lot of my original stuff. And so I still have people that ask me about it. I don't promote it, but I still sell it for those folks who ask me about it. And it's like I'll get a few folks every month that'll come in, and I promote primarily a focus on Accelerator, which is my program that is super intense, and it's designed to very linearly, help you create, field test, market and sell, high level offer. And then once you get it honed into a razor's edge, then take it out there with Facebook ads and LinkedIn ads and content and lead magnets and funnels and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's kind of very foundation. You have to build a foundation first before you do all the crazy stuff. People think I'm the Facebook ads guy, and I kind of am, but it's kind of a small piece. You got to get that dialed in first before you go cray with the Facebook ads. I think it's what the kids say nowadays, cray. Totes cray. Anyway, so because I really don't promote it anymore and I want to retire that material, it's not obsolete. It's great material. I'm just not promoting it anymore. What I didn't tell you was this, and this was going to be an unannounced bonus for those who bought the original course. I told a few people who bought in, but of all the people who bought, I haven't told this to yet. So this is a surprise. So while I'm retiring the material and in the original course, what I'm doing is I'm selling the $2,000 product for $1,000. It's 50% off. I do have a payment plan as well on the order page. But what I'm doing, I've only told a couple of people this, is what and by me selling this has kind of confirmed my suspicion. So a lot of people can't afford Accelerator. I get it. It's very high ticket and it's worth it. If you look at the testimonials, and I don't ask for them to post these things in the group. They just do, Kara and Jay and Kurt and all these other, Paul. So what happens, right, is that I get people who just can't afford the price tag. It's a big investment. You'll get a 10, 20, 30, 40 times ROI, but at the same time, it's a big investment. I get that. And it's pretty advanced stuff too. Pretty advanced stuff. And honestly, for a lot of folks, I shouldn't say honestly. I just came up with a video that says don't say honestly. Jesus. But I get people who just aren't ready for that. Not quite ready for it. So I am bringing back a lower price product, very similar to the original course. But all that old material, I'm reshooting everything, redoing the entire thing, and I'm probably not going to be ready for the 4 to 6 months. 4 or 5 months. It's kind of a ways out. Still kind of tinkering with Accelerator, getting everything kind of dialed in, but I'm going to release a program called Foundations. So I'm going to have 7-figure head-hunter Accelerator, which is my high-ticket deal, right? Below that will be 7-figure head-hunter Foundations. By the way, for all you Accelerator members, we'll also get Foundations for free, just FYI. Foundations. So my plan was, for anybody who bought the original course, was going to get a free invitation, and we'll get Foundations for free when it comes out. Completely all new, right? And it's basically taking what I've learned since creating Accelerator and doing this thing for a while now, and also what I do in my own practice. Keep in mind, I operate my own recruiting practice, so it's all field tested. This isn't theory, right? So taking all of that, and also probably make it a little bit leaner, meaner, more linear, but not as advanced as Accelerator, right? Accelerator, we go deep, and it's not for the timid. So Foundations will be more of I don't want to say introductory, but it's going to be it's to kind of teach you the foundations of creating a recruiting practice, kind of like what I did with the original course, right? It's just going to be a little more updated, some new additional things in there that I've learned along the way, but it's not going to have that super high ticket investment for Accelerator. It's going to be more about that 2K range. But again, for those people who buy original course, and by the way, so if you bought it yesterday, or if you bought it a couple days ago, congratulations, unannounced bonus, you are going to be getting that. And that's really the reason why I was retiring, or I was thinking about creating Foundations, because that's why I wanted to retire the original course. And plus, I just didn't want to really sell it anymore. And then with the the response has been pretty spectacular. It confirmed that, okay, I need to come out with something that's better for the individual recruiter who's working for somebody else, can't afford the super high ticket accelerator, and then they can implement that, bill more and create a better practice, and then kind of see the value. Oh, this shit really works. Okay, now I'm ready to graduate up to accelerator. So that is the plan. So congratulations for everybody who bought. I just saw a notification like 10 minutes ago that somebody else just bought. Everybody who just bought, since I announced this Wednesday, congratulations. I did not formally announce this. Just a couple folks, but you guys ran. Anybody who buys it tonight, he still gets in at the 50% off. So you'll get the original course and LinkedIn Recruiter and all that for 50% off before I retire it. But you'll also get an invitation to get Foundations for free when I release it to the general public. There you go. Cool. So anyway, let's drive those sales. So Jeff White, but that is over at midnight. But I just wanted to announce that. Like I said, I announced it to a few folks, but not to everybody. Let's see if I have any comments so far. Otherwise, I was going to do a little bit of training, but this call's already been like, what, 10, 15 minutes? So let's chat. What do you guys want to train about? I could do some stuff on sales, by the way. In fact, I've got a good subject here. Let's talk about the cycle of fear. The cycle of fear is a topic that I actually just did a training on in the accelerator. And it's about one of the biggest things that faces recruiters and salespeople in general. And it's called the cycle of fear. So if you guys want me to talk about that, give me a hell yeah in the comments. Hey, what's up, Laura? Thank you. If you guys give me a couple hell yeahs, I'll do a little impromptu training on the cycle of fear and how to avoid it. Right? All right, so let's talk about that. Cycle of fear. So what is the cycle of fear? So the cycle of fear is, hey, Wendy. Hey, what's up, Kimberly? Hey, so by the way, for you folks who are on this live, I see some of you folks who have bought the original course. Thank you for buying it. Secondly, hope you heard my announcement about Foundations. You're getting that for free. Anyway, cycle of fear. Let's talk about that. So the cycle of fear is a result of slumps, right? In this business, we have the feast and famine cycle, and I talk about this a lot. It's the feast and famine cycle that's endemic to our industry, right? We have a great month and we close $30,000, $40,000 in fees, and we're thinking, we want to look at Bentleys, we want to go on vacation to Ibiza and all that, and then next thing happens, we go for a few months and we goose egg, we get nothing, and then we're cutting out Starbucks. We're starting to get really, really nervous, and in a lot of ways, it's because the kind of people that are attracted to these sorts of jobs that we do, the high commission, low base or no base at all, so you're completely on commission, it's big money, it's big risk, but it's big reward. We tend to, and I have that the same thing inside of me, we tend to not think of the long term. We tend to think of what's in front of us because it's that type of person that is the type of person to take these sorts of risks to begin with. It's just who we are, right? But it backfires on us when we make a lot of money in a month and we're like, oh, we're good. And then we take our foot off the pedal and then we fuck ourselves for 3 or 4 months down the line. And it's that constant cycle. It's that fear. We're like, oh, if I don't close something, like I am screwed. I gotta have the conversation with my wife or have the conversation with my husband. My wife has to tell me to go get a real job now. I'm like, this is a real job. Like this, it's, and unfortunately, as our income grows and our bills grow and our mortgages grow and we have kids and for some reason, kids expect to eat and they expect to have a roof over their damn head, our bills grow. And so this business, we go and take a risk into this business. It's exciting. We're in our early 20s, we got no bills. We live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I've got a little car payment, and that's it. you know, that's fine. I'm not worried about it. But when you're grown up, we get in the cycle of fear. So the cycle of fear really is just all it is it's an oscillating state of mind that all recruiters go in. It's this, right? And so what we need to realize is that our business is a lot like roulette. Not that it's a gamble, right? You can actually operate this business in a way that to ensure that you will have steady and consistent billings, etc. And that's what seven-figure headhunter is all about. But with that said, there's a thing called a regression to the mean. So if anybody's ever played roulette, you know that you have red and you have black. Now, it's not really a 50-50 because, candidly, if we're a 50-50, the house wouldn't make any money. So I think it's, was it 3%, 2% chance that the little ball, when it spins on the roulette, will land on neither red or black. But for sake of simplicity, let's just call it 50-50, right? Close enough. So 50-50, what happens is people tend to think, because we think, so what we as people think in systems. We are pattern-seeking animals. When we grew up in the plains of the Serengeti, the reason why we survived against all, and we did better than all the other animals out there, and we evolved to who we are today because we were able to recognize patterns in our environment. So what happens is we see on like a roulette wheel, black, 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 we see, oh, that's a pattern. Now, what we may think, we may say, oh, black and black, cool. Next one's almost guaranteed red, or next one's almost guaranteed to be black, right? Whatever pattern we see, it doesn't mean we all see the same pattern, but we draw conclusions from that pattern, and oftentimes those conclusions that you draw from the pattern, regardless of what that conclusion is wrong. You can't draw conclusions. Because you can have black, 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 red, red, black, black, red, and then maybe in those 10 spins, you get 7 blacks and 3 reds. Now, if black is a 0 month for you and a red is a good month for you where you're billing, you are in a slump. Now, in reality, that's a small data set. So if you extend that data set over time, you extend the data set to 100 spins of the wheel, you'll get close to a 50%. And as that data set expands, it'll get closer and closer to 50%, right? So that's called regression to the mean, because you're up here and thinking, yeah, super yachts, going to Ibiza. And then what happens, you regress to the mean, right? And then you're down here and you're like cutting out Starbucks, but what happens, you regress it to the mean. So we're always regressing to the mean at all times. But we don't think about that, right? We don't realize that. So the best asset any salesperson or recruiter has is their state of mind, is their ability, because you master salesmen, they know that they're constantly like this. A slump doesn't mean anything. Having huge sales months doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's good. You can look at those patterns. If you're in a slump, there's probably a reason. Let's go and figure out what that is. Or it may just be you're in a slump. Things happen. Shit goes sideways. If we sold magazine subscriptions for $50 a pop or whatever, we would see a lot less of that. But because, we might close an average 1 deal a month or 2 deals a month for some of us, one candidate says, you know what, I just don't want to take that job anymore. Things have changed. Talk about it with my wife. We got a great counter offer. And no matter what you do, people are people. They're going to say no. They're going to make squirrely decisions. And because of that, you have a bad time. So it's that regression to the mean. I know I don't want to say any names, but I know a $1 million producer that has recently gone through a slump, and it sucks. He had messaged me like a month ago on this, maybe a few weeks ago, and so it was kind of messing with his head a bit. And I get it, especially when you're a top producer, you're doing everything right, and it just happens. So it's that state of mind, that mental ability to be able to stay out of slumps. Now, I guess at the same time, it's one thing to say, well, that's great, David, but what if I am in a slump? Well, I'm not necessarily going to tell you how to get out of slumping here, but I'm going to tell you how to keep out of a slump. That's what I want to talk about here. And so there are four horsemen of the apocalypse, as I like to call them. They're the four things that will cause you to run into a slump. And those four things are self-fulfilling prophecies, insufficient volume, no differentiating offer, and lack of tracking and iteration. Okay? Those are the four horsemen. So let me explain each one. A self-fulfilling prophecy is a prediction that directly or indirectly causes itself to come true by the very terms of the prophecy itself. Okay? So, for example, in my training, I talk about this a lot, particularly in Accelerator, where when you create an offer or a script or whatever it is, right? And by the way, if you're going out there and not selling a differentiated offer, like have an actual offer with an actual script, like a script that you stick to, right? You're screwed. Okay, no, I don't care if you're a veteran. If you're not doing that, you're leaving money on the table, potentially millions throughout your career. But anyway, so a self-fulfilling prophecy is simply this: you take a script out to market, or you take an offer out to market. In Accelerator, I talk about this, where you have to do like 20 or 30 calls. You gotta get a good data set, because you're going to have this oscillation, right, in the numbers. So you take a slice out of the data set, you do 4 calls in a row, and those 4 clients, or not clients because they said no, but those 4 prospects say no to your offer, right, high level offer. So what happens is you think, because it's self-fulfilling, my market doesn't support engagement fees, or my market doesn't support this, or you know what, this offer doesn't resonate, this doesn't work. And then what happens is that you take those beliefs into your next calls. If you even do your next calls, sometimes you don't even do them, you just quit. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, that could be a positive thing. Let's say you say 3 or 4 in a row close, bam, and you're on fire, and you got that confidence. That's where it can work for you. But no matter how you slice it, there's not really a pattern there until you have like 30 calls or so, and then you can take those 30 calls and then you can analyze them and iterate them, and we'll talk about that in the fourth horseman. So self-fulfilling prophecies is one of the biggest things. So you have to try to remain emotionally detached from what you do. That's why it's very important to have an actual offer, an actual script that you stick to, because if you do 30 of these, if you do a bunch of these calls and you're having success, you don't know what's actually successful. If you're not having success, you have no idea what's not successful. You have nothing you can fix. There's nothing to fix. You have no idea what, well, there is something to fix, but you don't know what it is. You're going blind, okay? So self-fulfilling prophecy is the first one. So you can't judge what you do right off the bat, right? Remain detached. So the second one is insufficient volume. This goes back to the data set issue, okay? So the problem most recruiters have in their business is, you know, they're relying on hope marketing, hope closing. You know, they've got a little ember, fire, right? And they don't have matches. They have this little ember. Because that fire goes out, the recorder is screwed. Like this, right? And so they're putting all their eggs in that one basket. They've got 2 or 3 interviews going any single time. Man, you know, 2 or 3 people, 4 people in a row say no, which happens in small data sets. They're screwed. And if they don't have enough of a cushion to take that blow, then they're out of the business. So it causes a lot of undue stress, and it's just simply insufficient volume. Whatever it is, in terms of jobs, interviews, in terms of calls, whatever it is. Again, it's that large data set, okay? So when you have 30, 40, 50 calls in a row with a defined script and defined offer, you know exactly what you're saying every single time, and you're tracking everything, and you're making adjustments, you know what to fix. You can tinker around with the little links. That's where people get really, really strong in terms of their skill level, okay? So it's that insufficient volume. So when it comes to your sales script, or maybe your biz dev scripts, right? So a sales script for me, like what I call a conversion script, is when you get a prospect on the phone and they have a need. It's being able to identify that pain and identify the vision where they want to be, and to get them sold on your offer, right? To spread the gap between the pain and the vision, and search your offer as the vehicle, and to get them sold on a higher level offer that they've never considered before. Okay, that's a conversion script, right? That's one kind of script. Or it could be a business development script, which quite literally is it could be like a 45-second voicemail that you're trying to get a call back. Or it could be a live call where you're trying to get them hooked enough to set up a sales meeting with you. Okay? So it could be those scripts. Or it could be your offer itself. Whatever it is, you need 20 at a minimum. Better, 30 is better. I mean, 20 to 30 instances where you've tested it consistently, right? Because, and by consistently, we're talking try to keep all variables possible consistent. And of course, I know it's impossible, but if you have a sales call with a hiring manager, or there's also a sales call with an HR manager, it's not consistent because those are two drastically different variables. Okay, but taking your script at the market and not making any changes until you've got 30. And if you're doing one sales call a month, with some recruiters hardly ever do sales calls at all anymore because they've got their legacy clients, people that just call in with their job orders. But ideally, you should be doing 10, 15 a week, just knocking them out and testing and getting those numbers in so you can really start testing this out. And a byproduct of having a lot of volume, you get a lot of job orders. You get up to bat a lot. You get in more positions to hit that home run. And if you don't hit a home run, you're hitting a lot of singles, a lot of doubles. That's how you win games. So getting sufficient volume. So if you're having those troubles, one of the best ways to do that is use my email systems, set up career calls. It's one of the best and easy ways to get a lot of decision makers on the phone very, very fast. Now you've got to convert them and flip that call, which could be another, and I do talk about that in Seven-Figure Headhunter, how to flip those calls, but you got to figure out how to flip them. You got to be in, and to do that, you got to get on the calls. You got to get a lot of volume in, right? So it's one of the things I talk about a lot in Accelerator is you got to get on volume. Like this isn't mental masturbation where you're sitting in an ivory tower thinking, well, I think my clients want this. I think that you have no idea until you take it out to market and field test it over and over and over and over. So I sometimes see trainers give these theories or kind of these scripts that have worked for years and years and years, but have they done it recently? And a lot of trainers have. There's trainers out there that are great and they test their stuff out, but not many of them do. And it's important for you to test this stuff out, right? Take a script out to market and test it 30 times. So insufficient volume is the second horseman of the apocalypse, okay? So the third is no differentiating offer. Now, if you're selling a service that is seen as a commodity, you'll never be able to move them up to a higher level. I was talking with a potential accelerator member. He's probably going to be joining here by the end of the weekend, and he's kind of a prime candidate because he's a young guy who just started a firm. He was a hot dog, recruiter, kicking ass, lots of phone calls, and just hustled, always did contingency, and works for himself. Had a couple of recruiters at one point, but they kind of fell off, and business itself was kind of falling off. And he's just pounding the phone, and he's able to make some placements. But at the end of the day, his offer is really no different than anybody else's. You see, what happens is when you call in and you get a job order, oftentimes they'll give that job order to, you didn't really sell anything really, they'll give the job order to a halfway decent recruiter. I'll probably use 4 or 5 recruiters, but a sale isn't really made. A sale isn't made until money leaves their bank account and flaps little arms and lands in your bank account. Until then, they're not really a client. So when you think with your offer, if you want to really excel, if you want to get in a situation where you're not always hustling and competing against every other Tom, Dick, and Harry in your market, you need a differentiating offer. Tara Carbert posted this, who also was a client. She was a client of the original course way back when. So she's one of the OG members. So what's up, Tara, if you're listening to this? She posted something which is crazy. She had said that having a differentiated service is so important. It's one of the things she learned from my program. And her client, in a week, I guess, she has like these weekly check-in calls, I believe. In a week, her client had received 27 sales pitches from recruiters. They ticked off them. They were so like, oh my God, there's so many people that are calling. They ticked off the numbers, right? 27. And they were all selling the same shit. All their lines were the same. All their other differentiators were the same. Our database is better. Our candidates are better. We can find, like, it's all the same. And there's nothing differentiating about it. It was pretty surprising that it was that many, and it was all the same, right? And so when we as recruiters, we get together, like, I'm gonna write my script, write it up. Oh man, this sound. I used to do this for years. Like, I would wordsmith it, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like drinking my own Kool-Aid. I'm swimming in my Kool-Aid. I'm like, man, this is amazing. Whew. There are idiots who don't use me. I would use me in a second. And then we're just pounding the script out on voicemail. And, I get a few things here and there. I just would outwork the market. It's like many of us do, but there's nothing differentiating about it because we don't hear what our clients hear. And it might be actually a good idea. I doubt many of you will do it, but to go to your clients or the people that you have relationships with and ask them, hey, how many calls do you get in a week? And not just live calls, but voicemails and solicitations and email. And what are the big differentiators that you hear? I'm really curious to hear what you're hearing out in the marketplace. And I bet you it'll sound a lot like what you say. The only difference is you have a relationship with that client, which is great. But let's say you want to get into a new client. So that's the idea. And I use this analogy a lot. But think about a head of lettuce. You go to, here it's Publix. I'm getting parched here. Hold on one second. You go to Publix. And, or Fry's or whatever grocery store is in your locale. And you buy a head of lettuce. Head of lettuce might cost you 49 cents, 59 cents, whatever. To you, it doesn't matter. It's just lettuce. It's a commodity. You don't care about the farmer who grew the lettuce. You don't care about the distributor. It doesn't matter. It's a head of lettuce, right? It's a commodity. It's a raw material. Now, there was a genius about 15 years ago, or I don't know who did this, but maybe 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, who came up with this crazy idea. I bet you if we take out the core that no one uses, we wash that lettuce down, we chop it up, put it in a bag, seal it, put some nice graphics on it, I bet you we could charge $3.49 for that. And they would buy that up like that. And I bet when he said or she said that, that in the boardroom or whatever, I laughed that guy out of the room. But it's a genius idea because they took that raw product, that raw material, and they created an entirely new market. It's kind of like when they took water and put it in a bottle like 30 years ago, whatever. People thought they were crazy for doing that. You can get tap water for free. Why would you pay for water? Now, who drinks tap water, right? Hey, what's up, Jim? Happy Easter. So you drink, and think about why they did this. Now, I want you to think about this because this is really, really key to creating a differentiated offer. You see, what do we offer? Well, fill a position for 20% or 25% or whatever it is for direct hire folks. Temp, same difference, same diff. Our customer service is better. Okay, somebody else can offer better customer service. There's nothing differentiating about it. I talk about this one of my lives I did, I think last week or the week before, where I talk about how you want your differentiator to be hard and expensive and hard to replicate. Because the harder it is to replicate, the more of a moat you have around your business. So think about this. If it's super easy to differentiate my product, then anybody can do it, okay? So you got to think about the needs that your clients have, your prospects have, that they don't even realize that they have because they're not informed or they haven't been given the option yet. So it never occurred to them. Think about 15, 20 years ago, and the house mom or the house dad or whatever, has to pick up the kids from daycare. Kids are screaming. They want to chop salad for dinner. Not the kids, because kids hate salad, but the grown-ups do, right? The grown-ups want a nice chopped salad with their dinner, and the kids are screaming. They're going to go buy that bag of lettuce because it's a time saver. So first off, that's one need that you're filling right there, even if it's only a 5-minute time savings, but there's more. Also, gotta take out that core. I still have bits of lettuce with that little core, and then I gotta, it seems like such a small need, but you don't have to worry about that anymore because that core's already taken out. All the bad lettuce isn't in there. Oh, and also in that bag will probably stay fresher, a little bit longer, a little bit crispier. So that way, when you bought that lettuce on Sunday, that bag of lettuce on Friday, it'll probably still be good, nice and crispy, ready for a salad. What about this? You have these stories about E. coli on recently was on romaine lettuce, I believe, right? Now let me ask you this: when you buy a head of lettuce, I bet you wash it, right? You should anyway before you use it. Now, if you buy a bag of lettuce that's chopped, do you wash that lettuce? Probably not. Why? You probably should wash it, by the way, but you don't because it says washed on the package. Now, mom worried about E. coli. Here are those stories in the news. She buys a bag of lettuce. It says it's washed. Oh, it's washed. I don't have to worry about it. Alleviation of responsibility. That's a big, big need that people have. They alleviate their responsibility. I don't have to worry about it. They should, but it's an alleviation of responsibility. And then they take all those things and they put it into a nice package with nice graphics, right? A nice picture on it. And the farm is called, Frankfurt Farms and grown locally, blah, 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 whatever it is, right? And now that lettuce, that really you're getting a third of the lettuce that you would get with a head of lettuce, that lettuce, you can now charge 6 to 7 times the amount, and you're not even really competing with the head of lettuce anymore because you've created a new product out of the same raw material. So that's what you need to do as a recruiter. Figure out a way to take your raw material rather, and create a new offer that is so different from your competitors that you can quite literally say, oh, no, my competitors are great, they're fantastic, but they're not really competitors because we don't offer the same thing. So if you're looking for that, go for it, use them. I think they're probably pretty good, they're decent, whatever, but it's just a different product. That's how you create a blue ocean out of a red ocean, okay? Is a differentiated product. So figure out what you can do, because if really what you're offering is your ability to hustle up candidates faster than the other guy, because really we can all find the same candidates. When you say my database is stronger, not really. There's a thing called LinkedIn, okay? For the vast majority of us in most industries, we can find candidates. It's not that hard, okay? It's the skill of getting the candidate, and it's the processes and the procedures in place and the guarantees in the back and all those things that kind of you can create into an offer. Okay, so offer creation is a big one. That's one thing we go into really heavily in Accelerator. It's kind of the heart. Ask any of the Accelerator peeps in the Herc, and they will tell you I harp on that as one of the first things that you do is create a differentiated product or offer. So lastly, the fourth horseman is, drum roll, although I already said what it is before, it's lack of tracking and iteration. So when every trainer in the world tells you to record your calls, and for all the recruiters in the world that listen to those trainings that never do that, this is for you. Okay, so the trainers are giving bad advice, and the recruiter is not taking that advice anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? Record your calls. Great idea in theory. In practice, however, it's not done very well, if at all. So the reason why recruiters don't record their calls and track their calls is because, for one, it's painful. I don't like listening to myself. Or I used to. Now I'm fine with it because I've done so many lives and videos and recorded myself so many times. But at first, it's really, really painful. 10 years ago, when I first started recording my calls, I hated it. You know why? Because I always thought I had a nasally voice. Because how I sound on the phone is different than what I sound on my head. And our head has this acoustics, right? So how you sound to yourself is different than the way everybody else hears you. So you spend a lifetime speaking and you hear it a certain way because of the acoustics in your head, that the sound reverberates in your skull. And so by the time it reaches your eardrum, it sounds different, right, than to everybody else. So when you hear yourself, you're like, I don't sound like that. And you're like, yeah, you kind of do. And we don't like the way it sounds because it's not us. On top of that, it's just embarrassing. People don't like to look in the mirror and look at their flaws. What am I doing wrong? Master salesmen are not born. They're made, and they're self-made because they go and they dissect everything. Sometimes the people that are kind of have the gift of gab, which is not equal good salesmanship, by the way, have the gift of gab and just can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, that become average salespeople at best because they're really good at making friends, they're really good at building relationships, but they're not really good at selling. Because they don't have to get better. They're always kind of pretty good, pretty decent. It's the folks who are really super analytical and track and iterate over and over and over in a repeated process that become really, really, really good at getting better, at building that skill set. So what I mean by like a tracking and iteration is that it is important that you record your calls. But when trainers say record your calls, and that's kind of it. Well, no. Record your calls. And then you want to iterate. So you want to get a large data set, 30. Yes, I said 30. Record every single one. And then come in on a Sunday and listen to them. See, this is hard. This ain't easy. This is like, you know what I mean? It's like people want the easy solution. All right, there's easy solutions out there. There's a ton of them. There's a metric shit ton of easy solutions. Never make a cold call again for the rest of your life. Push a button to make millions. Okay, let me kick you the real deal here. The world isn't like that. Okay, and so you need to do the hard things. And surprisingly, though, you don't have to do the hard things a lot. Just do at the right times. You can have massive success. So take these 30 calls, record them. And then once you're done with them, don't change things. Just kind of keep them consistent if you can, as much as possible. I know it's impossible, completely consistent, but try. And then go and listen to them. And then, and for Accelerator members specific, I've got a questionnaire that we use for this, but you basically go in and so on these calls, what pains did they talk about? Because you should be asking about pains in these calls. That's why you should have a script, right? What problems? What are the real problems? And note by studying talent acquisition, by studying this, because also train, you go through an accelerator. So what are the underlying issues I'm seeing, right? What are they looking to accomplish? What would a top performer, what about the last five people they hired? What did they do? No, all these different things, okay? Now, what stories did I use? What analogies? What metaphors? What resonated? What didn't? And basically doing that, you're making small changes to your business development script, or your voicemail, or your conversion script, or your offer, whatever it is, and then you modify. You make a change that you believe, I think if I do this, I'll get a better result. And you take that and do it again. You iterate. And you record, track, go on another day on a Sunday, and do it all again. Make the change, modify it, iterate it, do it again. And not that I want to give too much away, because a lot of this is in Accelerator and my other trainings, but I talk about your script as like a katana blade. And people have, they'll hear about these katana blades that have millions, like a million layers. That they temper the blade, and my dogs are crazy in the background, and they fold it, and they pound it again, and they refold it. And so it has like a million layers, like literally a million layers. And people think it has to be refolded. So man, no, they only fold it like maybe 15 or 16 times to get those million layers. It doesn't take that long. But that katana is a razor's edge. Now, if they never fold it even once, all they have is a metal slug. That it ain't gonna do shit. So, not that you have to do this 15, 16 times, but what I'm saying is it doesn't take that many times to kind of hone that script to just a razor's edge, or your offer, or your voicemail, or whatever it is. All right? So, that's a whole other training that I've got reserved for my training. Got to leave something out, but just give you an idea. It's the lack of tracking, a lack of iteration. Just recording your calls, just record your calls and listen to them occasionally, and maybe I should change this one thing. It's a wrong way to look at it. You got to do get a large data set, look at them consistently, and then make a modification, and then move forward and iterate. All right, that's key. Those, my friends, are the four horsemen of the apocalypse. That causes slumps, right? Which just increases the cycle of fear, which is what plagues 98% of all of us in the business. So I hope that makes sense. So with that said, that was a little impromptu training for you guys. See if you have any comments here. I don't see any major comments or questions. Cool. So anyway, for those folks who just came in late, I would go and rewatch this training. Just as a recap, I talked about the cycle of fear that's caused by a concept called regression to the mean, which is a mathematical concept. And it's just the way numbers work. And it's a cycle of fear that plagues most of us recruiters, right? So I talked about how to defeat that. And I also talked about the four horsemen of the apocalypse, the four things that causes slumps, okay? And the four horsemen of the apocalypse were self-fulfilling prophecies, insufficient volume, no differentiating offer, and lack of tracking and iteration. Talk about those four in detail, or at least kind of give you an overview of all four and how to approach each one so you don't have to worry about any more slumps, okay? And if you do find yourself in a slump, remember, it's your state of mind. That's your most important asset, right? If you do the right things, you'll come out of that slump. You just have to make sure you do the right things, okay? Your career isn't over if you're in a slump. So anyway, if you've just come in, go rewatch and take notes. Now, secondly, remember, original course on sale. It's ending tonight, okay? As I mentioned before, and this is an unannounced bonus for anybody who's bought the original course this last week. I was going to give it to you guys, and I wasn't going to say anything. I said it to a couple people, but I decided because of the response for the original course has been so huge, I decided to let everybody know. So for you folks who bought the course already, congratulations, you just got yourself an unannounced bonus I was going to give you, but I wasn't going to say anything until after the sale was over. That's on foundations. So all the original material, I'm retiring. It's all still good, but it was from my earlier career. So I am reshooting everything, modifying it based on what I've learned, based on things I've done in my own practice, things I've kind of honed, right? It's about that tracking and iteration. I eat my own cooking, right? So I track and iterate. So based on that, I'm creating 7-Figure Hunter Foundations, which basically is the entryway to my old training. Accelerator is my high ticket, so for those folks who can't afford it or just not ready for that really super advanced stuff, they can take Foundations. So anybody who gets in on my original course, which I am retiring, I'm not going to sell it anymore, will get free access to Foundations when it releases in probably 4 or 5 months, maybe 4 months. I'm still tweaking Accelerator, getting that honed in, but you'll get free access. Anybody else will pay the full price for Foundations. So it's kind of a thank you for getting in on the original course before I retire it for good. And for those folks who are curious, yes, I will have a step after Accelerator called 7-Figure Headhunter Scale, but that's for later. And that's for the super advanced folks. So anyway, that said, I'll drop the link down below. I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu Easter training. With that said, happy hunting.